Episode 26. Morning, Tom.
Morning, Michael. How you doing?
Good, thanks. You? Interesting
Right,
background today. Looks like you're in some sort of low-level social club / pub or something.
That's exactly where I am. It's actually funny enough. I have very fond memories of the Scarborough Civil Service Club, which I used to go with my granddad before at school, and I remember going to the Civil Service Club, and it was very, very working class.
Yeah.
But we sat at the back, and there was a pool table, and I remember one of my granddad's friends had a watch. Remember those really thick leather straps? It had like a watch inside it.
Yeah.
Had one of those. I remember thinking it was the coolest thing ever.
We spent quite a lot of time in social clubs actually growing up.
Yeah,
good fun. It literally looks like that. We still go occasionally as well with up to mum and dad's. But look, let's get into it. So yeah, guys, episode 26. If you're a busy executive, you want to be listening to this. We're going to tell you exactly how to increase energy, drop body fat, and that's going to help you perform at your best plus more. We're literally just going to tell you today what we think is the best approach and how to start, where to go, what you may be doing wrong. But if you were looking to do those things, Tom, where would you suggest starting first? Because I think it is almost like a minefield, isn't it? If you typed in Google, there's so many diets, people are always looking for the best workout plan, all these things. And I think what happens is people just get overwhelmed like so quickly.
Yeah, I suppose it's getting away from that idea that there is a best thing and there is that one thing that's going to be perfect for you. And I suppose we're talking about people who are busy in business. In their work, I suspect the reason why they're successful is because they've come up again. There's been an opportunity, or there's been a set bit of work being doing, and they've probably talked about it for a little bit, and then gone, you know, we're just going to do this, and we're going to see what works. And we know we could at the job that we do. This is a new project. We're going to throw everything at it, and we're going to start and do something, and maybe tweak as we go along. So I suppose, yeah, get rid of that idea that there's that one thing, and actually maybe that imperfect action of going, do you know what, I am going to make a change, and I'm going to try this. That's probably the first step, I would say, first little shift.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and I think the big thing to sort out is energy, and that's why I wrote that first, because if your energy's low, you're never going to want to go to the gym or exercise or whatever that looks for you. You're never going to want to eat the healthy food options. You're never going to want to, on your travels, go, do you know what, I'll pick up the salad over the McDonald's. So, you know, you're never going to want to get up early, get your body moving, get outside, whatever that looks like. I think if your energy's low, you're always going to struggle. And also, you're going to pick the higher fat, higher sugar foods because your energy's low. Your body's literally going to crave it on those days. So for me, I think the biggest thing to sort out is energy levels. The only way to increase your energy levels is by moving your body. It's literally like the only way. It's never going to happen by getting more sleep and all things like that. You're just going to get more tired. Those days where you have like nothing to do and you laze around the house all day, you're more tired, aren't you? And those days where you get to the gym, you move your body, you've got way more energy going into 8, 9 at night. You're energetic. So I would look at, first of all, like moving your body.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be trying to shoehorn an hour into your day or trying to fit it in if you're busy. It's a matter of moving regularly. And actually, a friend of mine in America, I'm trying an app for him. I'm not going to mention it because it's brand new, but it's all about little movement snacks as you go along. And actually, just by trialing it and doing the little exercises that pop up on his app to try, actually definitely increases my energy. And if I'm sat at the desk, if I'm sat down for more than an hour, when you stand up, you're like, you kind of almost shoehorning your body out of the chair, and your body doesn't want to move, and you're lacking that energy. Whereas if you're regularly moving, definitely it keeps those battery levels stocked up, and when you leave, you've got more energy for the rest of your life. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think again, if your energy is low, maybe look at what is causing that as well. Because we always look at like go and do this, but I think it's all important to look at like, well, what is going on? Why is my energy low? And I think for a lot of people, it's like high stress situations. your body's just not going to function well at high stress. But then that high stress normally leads to poor sleep because you're going to bed. Maybe we speak to so many people that they're answering emails at like 10, 11 at night. Like you're never going to get a good night's sleep because your mind's too active. You're thinking about all the things you're going to have to do the next day. So that's something that I think is like fundamental to sort out if you're going to increase your energy levels. Like if you're not sleeping, getting good quality sleep, you're going to struggle going forward. So yeah, 100%. I'd say like look at figuring out like what you can do to sort out sleep.
Yeah, and another big thing is hydration. Being properly hydrated is really, really intrinsically linked to energy levels.
Yeah,
we all know if we get too warm, we start to get a bit fuzzy, and we haven't drank. We're trying to live off coffee, and we feel tired, so we have another big coffee to try and get us through it, and it never really gets that energy back. And so, hydration is something that probably one of the first things that I work on with my guys is like kind of how much actual water you're drinking, and it quite often when I mention that it's like none. I have a cup of coffee in the morning, and then a couple more during the day, and I might have a cup of tea, and then I get to the evening and a quick beer before my tea. So there's been no actual water in all its perfect kind of form consumed.
Yeah, and people, the guys we speak to often talk about that brain fog, don't they? Yeah. And then suddenly, just after a week of just hydrating your body, not even probably full hydration, because it's going to take a little while but just hydrating your body just that little bit more, and suddenly that brain fog clears a little bit. I think what can happen though is, I think people get so sort of almost stuck in how they've been feeling for so long that they almost don't realize how they should feel. Have you experienced that? Like I've had guys that come in, like they'd be like week 4, week 5, their energy levels are better, the brain fog's gone. They go, I didn't realize I'm supposed to feel like this.
Yeah, no. Yeah, regularly. Yes, it's like this is. I feel like I did when I was 20. It's kind of as a common phrase, and even this for guys in their 40s and 50s is that feeling back of I've spent 30 years feeling tired and lethargic, and sometimes almost giving into the fact that okay, this is my age now, and this is how I should feel.
Yeah, it's so funny you should say that, because obviously I was not obviously but I was on a little mini cruise this weekend, and I went with family, and my cousin's husband was there. I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this, but he's always been like pretty trim, kept himself in shape. He's pretty active when we was away, and he talked to me a little bit about my lifestyle and how it works for me, and we talked about it. And then I think it was either that day or a few hours later, he just sort of went, I'm not accepting middle-age spread, just not accepting it. So even him, who's always been fit, always been pretty trim, had that question in his mind of, do I just accept this now? Is it an age thing? And it's basically just not true. You don't have to accept it at all. You don't have to accept low energy. Just because people say you gain weight every year, you absolutely don't have to accept that. Of course, you have to do stuff to make sure that doesn't happen, but it's definitely something you don't have to accept. So otherwise, everyone in their 50s and 60s would be out of shape, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I regularly hear the when you tick over into 40. I regularly hear guys say that, oh, when I used to be fit as a fiddle, and then went 40, and this is how I am now, and it's like an acceptance. Oh, yeah. I'm in my 40s now. This is how it is. I should be a little bit kind of overweight. My back should hurt, and this is. I mean, I'm not sure it's a great thing to be thinking that I'm on the downward spiral now. I think that's that's up here, a little bit more than down here. It's the brain going, you're accepting a certain situation, and then that acceptance probably leads to different behaviors.
Yeah, it does, I think. And the other thing that was said on the cruise, this is helping with this live today, is like, your metabolism slows down as you get older. And actually, and people believe that. And the thing is, you believe that, you almost go, well, again, this is normal. I'm supposed to gain weight. I'm supposed to my energy levels aren't supposed to be as high. And I was actually reading the other day that your metabolism, once you hit 60, only goes down by 0.7% every year. Literally 0.7% every year. So it's negligible. Like, you wouldn't notice any difference at all. So that's basically BS. But your metabolism will go down if you don't move your body, if you don't do any resistance training, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not getting the right foods. They're the reason your metabolism's going down, not because you suddenly got a year older, you've had another year around the sun.
Yeah, no, it's a, sometimes it's a useful for a useful. I don't know, if it's something you've been trying to fix for a long time and you found it hard, then you can find an excuse that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the reason that this is happening. Oh, it's not my fault. It's metabolism. It's our genetics. It's just my age. So it's I suppose it's a useful reason to go to not have to do anything about it.
Yeah, because we're not saying it doesn't necessarily get a little bit harder as you get older, because it potentially can, but it's only going to get harder if you do less, isn't it? If you do less exercise, you're not going to keep as fit. If you eat less good quality food, you're not going to fuel your body with as good food. You're not going to have the energy levels. And again, we speak to guys all the time that go, oh yeah, 10 years ago I was in the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week and I was really fit and I was in shape, but now I haven't trained in 6 months and my metabolism slowed down. It's like, well, that's not the reason. It's because you used to be in the gym a lot and you looked after yourself much better than you do now. That's the reason you're not where you want to be. By the way, guys, again, we always want to emphasize, like, none of this is easy. With this fast-paced, busy life we live, like, none of this is easy. If it was, then the majority of people would be at the place they'd want to be in terms of their physique and health, and the majority of people aren't, I'd say.
Yeah, and I suppose thinking about if we're talking to our main people we work with, busy executives, it's a matter of time. I think definitely at the beginning is tying it in with something that's really important. And it's a prime example is one of my clients right now, Roger. We tie him looking after his body, we tie it to his ability to create wealth in his business. Yeah, and it's like, okay, if we could, I would say, I don't know, if we keep up this progress in your weight and your physical health and your fitness, how much do you think you've improved over the last few months? 10-15%? Is that, yeah, well, easily 10-15%, right? So if we carry on going, say if we got pessimistically another 2 or 3% increase in your energy, what would that mean to your business? If you could increase your business's ability to create money and have success by 1 or 2%, what is that? And it's a lot of money. And then it's like, oh, do you know what? It's tied in something that actually is really, really important.
Yeah, nice. And I think, again, you see it on I don't know, socials and things like that. It's like, wish I had more time, like, to get all the things done. It's like, again, going back to energy, you don't need more time. You need more energy. Yeah. Energy is going to be the thing that's going to get more stuff done, because you're going to be capable of taking on all the challenges. You're going to be capable of just hitting those deadlines. There's going to be a lot less, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it Monday, or all these things that always get pushed, down the line when your energy levels are low. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously, that big thing for energy levels is just doing something, like anything, right? Walking, a HIIT workout. Don't think you've got to go to the gym for an hour with 15 minutes either side, showering. Or like, if you're a busy executive, it's never going to happen. So, could you get a kettlebell at home and do some swings, some squats, some press ups? I guarantee you do that. Little workout, 10, 15 minutes, 4 times a week. I guarantee your energy levels, I wouldn't say they're double, but I guarantee you get your energy levels increase.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it did double. I wouldn't be surprised if someone committed to doing that 3 or 4 times a week. I wouldn't be surprised if they did feel a massive improvement.
Well, I agree. I just didn't want to overshoot it too much. I actually think, it would.
Yeah, no. If someone's sat here watching and honestly going, do you know how much actual formal exercise am I doing? am I actually setting aside time to do physical work that's going to improve my body? And if there's someone sat there thinking, I'm not actually doing anything, then that 3 or 4 times a week of 10 minutes of something, doesn't matter what it is, don't try and find the perfect workout, find something and do it. The increase from that low level here is going to be massive. It's going to be huge.
It really will, yeah. Like reduce stress as well, you know, because when you're swinging a kettlebell or I don't know, lifting some weights or any of these things, you know, you're not necessarily thinking about the stresses of work. So you're reducing stress, increasing energy. You know, I think it's like the most underutilized things we can implement in our lives relatively easily. We're not saying long workout.
The reducers in like, it was one of the first things I noticed when I got into going to the gym regularly, when I worked in an office, and I'd be beaving away trying to do something, and I'd get myself so much in a place, struggling to get this job fixed, that my brain was so fixated on this job, and the only way that I could get my brain out of it was going to the gym. I used to go, and again, I didn't realize it at first, but after a while, I realized that while I was in the gym, I wasn't thinking about anything about the feet apart from the internal feelings in my body as I was doing the exercise. So I could leave the gym feeling refreshed and actually going back and going, right, hitting this problem from a different angle and actually getting the job fixed.
Yeah, like obviously, you know, we're both preaching to each other's choir here with what we believe in, but you know, it's true. Exercise makes you feel so good. You know, it's a chemical release of endorphins, which works. It helps you, you know, feel good about yourself, a sense of achievement, like all these things. And I know for certain, like if I have a day where I don't train, my energy levels for that day are never as high as when I have trained. Energy levels, like ability to take on tasks, stress, like all these things are improved. And again, like we say, it doesn't have to be long at all. Like it really doesn't as well to actually make a real significant difference. If we look at, like, I think we've covered energy levels there really. Like obviously we could probably talk a lot longer about it, but the key is moving your body basically. What about dropping body fat? What would you recommend if there's like 1 or 2 things to go and do now that will help with body fat?
I think like to hit the energy levels as well, I think is the water. I think if you think about how much actual kind of water you're drinking and whether you're hydrated or not, being hydrated is one of the first things that you need to hit in terms of kind of getting into good habits and to losing weight. Our bodies are rubbish at discerning thirst from hunger, and we're thirsty. But our brain goes, I'm not sure what it is, and quite often, again, I speak to client after client after client, saying I'm reaching for this food, I'm not hungry. And say, okay, let's have a glass of water first. If you're still hungry afterwards, have something to eat. Okay, and I know nearly all the time it's like, I wasn't hungry at all. I was just thirsty. So I suppose getting those hydration levels up, whether it's I'm going to commit to 2-3 liters a day, which might be a big jump for some people, or whether it's if there's certain times when I feel myself when I snack, I don't know, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, 9 o'clock at night, sat on the sofa watching Netflix, and I find myself snacking and I don't know why, have a big glass of water at those times. So I think the next thing is hydration. Again, it's simple, but it definitely works.
The funniest thing is the most simple things are normally the most effective.
Yeah.
And I think probably 99% of people that are listening to this know all these things. Don't they? Most people know all these things. It's a case of implementing them. But yeah, I agree. If you're not hydrated, you're not going to recognize the difference between hunger and just being thirsty, basically. I also think the reason people snack as well is that most people undereat massively on protein, like massively. Like even like, well, most people wouldn't even know, because why would you? But they're probably like eating a quarter of what maybe they should do.
Yeah. So I suppose,
and protein, just to like cover this, like if you don't know, protein keeps you fuller for longer. It helps regulate appetite. Our body works harder just to process it, so you naturally burn more calories. Like people talk about like superfoods and all these things, and I don't think they're the greatest words, but protein's like a super macro, I think. It's like one of the best things you can do. Like increases your, increase your metabolism, burn more calories, keeps you fuller for longer. How good's that?
Yeah. So I suppose that kind of making sure you're having a nice bit of protein at every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and getting something in. And again, not trying to think what's the perfect one. I'm gonna say my go-to one is usually eggs. Again, you can sneak those into your diet very, very simply and very quickly.
Yeah, and that comes down to a bit of prep, though, I think, because if again, all these link into each other, though, because if your energy levels are low, you're not going to go and prep food. You're not going to go and do that healthy shop. It's just going to be more convenience, and that's when the takeaways come in and all these things. So they all interlink. If you think about it, they all literally interlink into each other. So yeah, if you're not prepping the food, if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to go, do you know what, I'll take this high protein. You're going to go, I'll have this sugary quick fix. It's going to give me energy. And then you have that spike and you have that low. And then you probably go, I need to get back up here. So I'll have something sugary or coffee. And it's on that like roller coaster like every day.
Yeah. But a word of warning when it comes to the word protein. Marketeers also know exactly what we've just been speaking about. So it is pushed on a lot of things. High in protein. Get your protein hit here. Again, just I don't know if it's packaged. If the packaging looks really fantastic, let's say someone spent a lot of time and a lot of designers have spent hours making this packaging look brilliant. It's probably a sign that they're trying to sell you something that maybe isn't as good as pack of chicken or boiling some eggs. I think that should be a little bit of an alarm bell.
Yeah, and I think if you think of it from that way, as much as you can stick to whole foods as possible, that's like, loads of stuff's come out about ultra processed foods lately, and we all know that they're not good and they should be moved as far away from your diet if you have quite a high ultra processed diet as possible. Like definitely try and get that out. And whole foods. So if you're talking about protein, like chicken breasts, salmon, tuna, things like that, like lentils, like those are the things that are gonna, again, like, because I always go back to the energy. Those are the things that are obviously going to help you drop body fat, but going to increase the energy as well, because you're fueling yourself with much better foods as well. But again, unless you've got the energy, you're not going to go and do the healthy food shop. You're not going to prep the food.
And I know you do a similar thing to me in terms of at the beginning of working with our clients, it's a lot about quality of food, and it's about improving the quality. And the reason we do that is because it's full of vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Also, those things tend to be bulkier, that fill us up, and also they tend to be lower calories. So it's like, so at the beginning, it's quite often clients will say, well, we're just making some changes. Why are we only just making changes? That's the reason. Actually, we're hitting the problem we're trying to fix in terms of reducing our calories, but also we're reducing that ultra processed food and getting a lot more stuff in.
Yeah, because I think that's an important point as well. I think when people go on diets and weight loss programs, it's a lot about like what gets taken out and gets restricted. Whereas a lot of the time, it should be about what you put in, like more protein, more whole foods, more fruit, more vegetables, like all these things. Because the majority of people's diets are lacking in quite a lot of elements, aren't they? So, it shouldn't necessarily always be about restriction. Of course, there should be some, because, you need to be a calorie deficit, otherwise none of this is going to work. But it's about doing it, again, long term. If you just keep restricting stuff and you're living off a salad every day and, I don't know, like a shake, it's going to be pretty miserable. And at some point, that's going to stop, right? And then all the weight's going to go.
And then a shake, if you think about an ultra processed food, a diet shake is the epitome of an ultra processed food. It bears no resemblance to food, even if it might say it's got 20 all your essential vitamins and minerals inside it. Some machine has splurged that out from and added a lot of shit to it. And it's, again, if you think about long term, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even designed to metabolize food like that, are we?
No.
you know, you might think you're doing something good for your body in terms of having a juice and things like that, and it's just you know, you're probably not getting hardly any of those vitamins and minerals because we're just not designed to drink some of that and get all those things at the same time. And also, if it's quite a high fruit juice, you get a load of sugar in that, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, it's a big sugar hit which our bodies aren't designed to cope with. So, by the way, I think just covering all these things, these are the things that will help you perform at your best.
Yeah.
You know, we don't necessarily have to talk about, you know, this is what to do. Like we've talked about it. You know, you do these things, move your body, as we all know, improve your sleep, eat better quality food, and the outcome, perform better, right? Perform at your best.
Yeah, yeah. And that hits your bottom line at work. It means you turn up at work with more energy. It means your staff look at you and are more inspired by you, and basically your business does better.
100%. Anything you'd add, or do you think we've given people enough to have some things to look at or take away, implement now?
I think that's enough. Kind of move your body, hydrate properly, and increase the quality of your food. Again, it's the simple things, but it's making sure you actually tie them into. If you tie it into something that's really important, I want my business to succeed, and go, these things will actually loop around and do that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit mad, really, because you know, we talk to business owners and, you know, people that are looking to improve their career, and they're willing to get up at 6 a.m. and pretty much work straight away. They're willing to go through to 10 p.m. at night and work, or work weekends. So, you know, to make their business successful, they're willing to put the hours in. Whereas maybe if they reframed things and said, you know what, I am the most important person in my business. Yeah. I'm the one that's going to help it perform at its best by making me perform the best. You know, they're willing to do the work, you know. So maybe it's like, instead of putting in all the hours of business, maybe I'll put some hours into me to make me the best for my business.
Yeah. Make that. Again, it's a lot of the stuff we do is having those little shifts in your head, and you go, you know, why wasn't I doing this before? Why didn't I see that before? And yeah, if you can tie it into 5% increase on your bottom line, your business, then spending, I don't know, half an hour, 3 to 4 times a week on you to do that is a very, very good return on investment.
Yeah, I agree. And then one last thing I'd say as well is, you know, if you are approaching, I don't know, like 50, 60, which, you know, some people maybe listen to this, like if you've made your business really successful, but your health's in the toilet, like literally that, you know, you're about to retire and you're going to struggle to have weekends away, and this, I don't want this to come across in the wrong way, then what was it all for? And we, you know, we speak to guys that have said that to us, you know, it's like, I'm approaching my, you know, I'm a bit worried I'm getting to like 50, 60, and if I retire now, you know, I'm not fit enough to go and have weekends away. I want to be fit enough to spend time with my family or grandchildren. You know, if you're struggling and you are about to retire, you know, it's about going, do I really want to change this? You know, like most people want to retire and maybe see the world and go on weekends away. But if you can't, because you've let your health go bottom of the list, it's going to be hard to make those changes. But maybe it's a bit of a question if people are maybe in their 40s now, moving along that way, going, maybe it's now I need to do something.
Yeah. So
I don't become that guy at 60 who can't do the things he wants to do.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right. Look, guys, as always, we hope you got plenty of value from today's live. Any questions, any likes, comments, feedback, we obviously always appreciate it. And yeah, dude, that's episode 26 in the can, they say in Hollywood, don't they?
Something like that, yeah. Not sure this is Hollywood ready just yet, Michael.
No, probably not. All right, dude. Speak soon. Cheers, guys.